In this video, we're going to go through on Read Swastika School 2024 end of year examination mathematics paper 2. So let's get started on the first question. Question 1, it says in 38,564, which digit is in the hundreds place? So we know 3 is in the right 10,000 place. What about 8? Right, it's the right thousand place, right? And then what about 5? 5 is in the hundreds place. Then 6 will be tens place, and 4 will be right 4 will be ones place. So therefore in this answer over here, hundreds place is number 5. Okay, let's move on to number B. What is the value of digit 3? 3 over here, so 10,000 place. So 3 is essentially, right, 10,000 place, just 3 times 10,000, which is 30,000. Okay, so that's it. So that is B. Let's move on to question number 2. Question number 2 says, the figure is made of two squares. What fractions of the figure is shaded? So you see over here, can you tell that, can you tell that if you look at this, where is my laser? Uh, they are a symmetry, right? So this is, let's say, they are symmetric, right? So symmetric. Okay, so in this case, this is half, right? So this is half over here. So I'm going to put a red line over here, right? And so they are symmetric, and then these two lines are the same as well. So one, I'm going to put in green. So one, and also another one, two over here as well, like this. Okay, so in this case, if I were to draw the triangle like this, right? Oops. Uh, because I don't know if this triangle will work, but essentially, this over here, this is the same as this. So if I were to draw this one, right? Okay, and then the arrow as well, these two are the same. Okay, these two arrows, these two, right, uh they are the same in this case over here, right? In this case, so that means this is half of one square. Okay, so they are symmetric. Is that oh, just missing an M. So that means shaded shaded is equal to half of square, right? So there's two squares. So there are two. So in this case, shaded is half a square. Uh, so one square is so half of one square. Okay, so shaded is basically one half times two, right? Half. Okay, basically this is half of one square. If you make this into a rectangle, so rectangle or figure is equal to two squares. That means shaded is one quarter of two squares. Okay, that makes sense, right? Something like this lah. So we have one, and then we have two, right? Okay, and then we just put half as what do you call this? Like this, and then we just shade this part, right? We shade this part over here. Okay, that means in this case over here, this is one quarter. No, yeah, one quarter is shaded in this case over here. All right, if that makes sense. Okay, they are symmetric, so that means, yeah, Shaded is half a square. I'm gonna write this here. Like this lah. So 1/4 is shaded. So you just put 1/4. I'm gonna put like this 1/4. Okay, let's move on to the next one. B. In the number line below, what is the decimal represented by A? Okay, so we must get the number of gaps. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in this case over here, 8 gaps is equal to 1. So 1 gap is equal to 1, and then we divide it by 8, and this will give us not 9, 8. This will give us 0.125. Okay, so if you were to use the calculator, divide by 8, 0.125. Okay, so A is equal to 2 gaps. So 2 gaps is 0 is 1 plus 2 gaps, right? So 2 gaps is 0.125. Okay, times 2, this will give us 0.25. Okay, so we just multiply this by 2, 0.25. So then that means A is equal to 1 plus 0.25, which is 1.25 in this case, right? So the answer is 1.25. Let's move on to question number 3. Two numbers add up to 674. Both numbers are 3-digit numbers. What's the greatest possible difference between the two numbers? Okay, so greatest possible difference is between smallest number or biggest number minus smallest number. So an example is for smallest number is like 100, and then you have like 500 in this case. So uh smallest smallest 3-digit number is equal to 100. Okay, because that's smaller. So that means biggest number will be 674 minus 100. This will be 574. Okay, so difference will be equal to 574 minus 100 will be 474. Okay, so that's the answer, 474. There we go. All right, let's move on to question number 4. The rate to send letters to a country is shown in the table below. So first 20 grams is 85 cents, and then additional 10 grams or part thereof is 0.25. Ben sent a letter that weighed 43 grams. How much did Ben pay for sending the letter? So first 20 grams is dollar 0.85. Okay, and then we have remaining, which is equal to 43 minus 20. This will give us 23 grams. Okay, so number of additional 10 grams or part blocks, okay, which is equal to 23 divided by 10. Okay, which is 2.3. So and then we need to round up. Okay, so this will be 3. Okay, I'm gonna put curly brackets. Okay, 3. So that means remaining cost is equal to 3 times 0.25. This will give us 0.75 cents. Okay, so total cost is equal to 0.75 plus 0.85. This will give us dollars 1.60. Okay, so if you double check, right, 3 times 0.25, okay, 75 plus 0.85, $1.60. Okay, there you go. So it's $1.60. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 5. Okay, the figure shows a square WXYZ uyx is 21, and wwz u is 48 degrees. Find uzy. So from here we know that angle, right? Angle wzy is a 90 degrees. Okay, so right angle over here. So I'm going to draw a, a very nice square over here. Okay, so from here I think we can get uzy. Okay, so in this case uzy is equal to 90 minus 48. This will give us 42, right? So 90 minus 48 is equal to 42 degrees. Oops, forgot the 42 degrees over here. All right, so that's the answer. The answer to this is 42 degrees. Right. Circle the words that describe ZUY in the statement. So ZUY. Right. So it says here ZUY is an isosceles triangle because ZUY is equal to ZYU. YUZ YUZ is equal to ZYU. Right. Okay. So we need to calculate this. So we know here is 42 degrees. Okay. Right. So in this case, we calculate ZYU. ZYU. Right. So angle, I'm going to put here lah. Angle, angle Z, ZYU, no, X, ZYU, ZYU, yeah, correct. ZYU is equal to 90 minus 21. Okay. In this case, this will give us 69, right? Yeah, so let's double check. 90, 90 minus 21, 69. So we know that here is, in this case, 69 degrees. That's what I see over here. So now we not need to get angles u y u z y u z y u, and then we have z. Okay, which is basically 180 minus 42 minus 69. Right, let's see if this gives us 69 as well. So it's just yeah, 180 minus 42 minus 69, and the answer is 69 as well. All right, so that means this is an isosceles triangle. Okay, so I'm gonna draw this and then paste it over here. So the answer to this is exact uy is a circle. Okay, circle is because ZYU is also is an isosceles triangle because is ZYU is equal to ZY in this case over here. So I'm gonna put the workings below here lah, right? Something like this. Okay, so yes, there you go. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question number 6. Ooh, a lot of words. In a library, books were placed on 40 shelves with equal number of books on each shelves. 6 shelves were removed and the books on these shelves were placed on the remaining 34 shelves. So because of this, the number of books on each shelf increased by 9. What was the number of books on each shelf? Okay, so this is shortage and excess concept. Okay, so there's two ways to do this, but for me, I like to do the what they call this the number value kind of thing. Okay, so we can say that let's one unit be number of books. Okay, so because of this, the number of books on each shelf increased by 9 books on each shelf. So 40 shelves let you be number of books in one shelf. Okay, make sense, right? Okay, so first I'm gonna highlight this. 40 shelves with equal number of books. So this is scenario 1. So in scenario 1, okay, right, with number of books. Okay, so let's move scenario 1. So total number of books is equal to 40 times 1 unit. This will be 40 units. Okay, so this is scenario 1. Okay, pretty straightforward, right? So then for scenario number 2, we have two scenarios, right? So 6 shelves were removed. Oops, 6 shelves were removed, and then the remaining 34 shelves. So each shelf increased by 9. So books on each shelf increased by 9. So in this is what I call whoop deep boop. Gonna put this as scenario 2. Gonna make this as blue, 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 blue. Right. So scenario 2. Okay, I'm gonna make this back. Scenario 2, basically total number of books is in this case we have 34 shells times 1 unit plus 9. Okay, so this will be 34 units 34 units times 1 unit. So I'm gonna just make it like this, so at least it looks better like that. Okay, and 34 times 9. Okay, so what will this become? 34 units. Okay, plus let me make this smaller a bit lah, because yeah, taking a lot of space. So let's see what's 34 times 9. And this will become 306. 6. Okay, so scenario 1 is this, scenario 2 is this. So since they are both the same, okay, so I'm gonna put this right. So all right, so since scenario 1 and 2 is the same, right? So that means this will then become 40u, make it small, is equal to 34u plus 306. So we minus 40 and u, so 40u minus 34, minus 34u equal to 306. So this is 6u is equal to 306. 1u is equal to 51. Okay, so I'm gonna write 306 divide by 6. Okay, so divide by 6, 51. What was the number of books on each shelf at first? 51 ah. Yeah, that's it. Okay, there you go. So the answer is 51. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 7. Let's zoom this in. So it says here, Miss Tan decorated a frame 28 centimeters long by 16 centimeters wide with identical rectangular tiles using the tiling pattern shown below. How many tiles did Miss Tan use? Okay, so we know that so if I were to create this tile over here, right? So we know that we got one. Okay, I'm gonna draw exactly. Ooh, very accurate. Okay, so we have one. So we know that one tile and two tiles, okay, over here, okay, is equal to one tile. I'm going to rotate, so I want to be exact like this. Okay, it looks like this. Okay, a little bit too right to the left, so like this. And then we also know that this is 4 centimeters. So I'm going to draw an arrow. Okay, this is 4 centimeters. Okay, so tile, gonna make this medium, tile length is equal to 4 centimeters. We also know that this 4 centimeters. All right. This one also is also 4 centimeters. So that means we know that breadth, let B be breadth because it's too small. I'm gonna just let B let B be breadth. So this over here is 1B, right? And this over here, oops, why did I rotate it? This over here is also 1B, right? So tile length is 4 centimeters. And then we know 2, I'm gonna put here, let B be breadth, right? 2B is equal to 4 centimeters. So 1B is equal to 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2 centimeters. So in this case, we already know what this whole thing is now, right? So the breadth is 2 centimeters, length is 2 centimeters. Okay, so now we know this. So essentially, 2 tiles is equal to we want to get to get the number of tiles. So 2 tiles form 1 square. Okay, so 1 square area is equal to 4 times 4, which is 16 centimeter square over here. Okay, so from here we get the volume of the no volume, the area of the thing here. So volume of what is this frame? Volume area of frame is equal to 28 times 16. Okay, and this will give us 28 multiplied by 16, 448. Okay, all right. So number of squares is equal to 448 divided by square area. Divide square area is 16. Yep, and the answer is 28 because yeah, we see here over here. Okay, number of squares is 28. Okay, I'm gonna put centimeter square. So now number of tiles. So since 2 tiles, 1 square is equal to 2 tiles. Then 28 squares is equal to 28 times 2, and this will give us 56 in this case over here. All right, that's the answer. So the answer is 56. All right. Okay. So let's move on to question number 8. Okay. The mass of a box with 50 identical beads weighs 0.9 kilograms. When 30 beads are removed, the mass of the box with the remaining beads is 0.54 kilograms. What is the mass of each bead in kilograms? So if I were to draw out a model for you, right? So 50 beads, we have one box, and so at first, I just write at first, okay, we have the box, right? Okay, we have the box over here, and then we have 50 identical, in this case over here, right? This is 50, right? Then 50 beats, right? And then this is 0.9 kilograms, this whole thing, 0.9 kg. Okay, so then in the end, is it doesn't really matter. Okay, so then similar, but we still have the same box. The remaining bits is instead we remove 30, so this is 20 bits left lah, right? Okay, so 20, uh okay, you know what, I'm just gonna copy this, right, paste this here. 20 bits is like this much. Okay, and then now we are left with 0.54 kilograms. Can fit? Yes, can fit. So in the end, we are left with 20 bits, and then this is 30 bits. Right. Okay, I want this one to be like this. Right, 30 bits gone. All right, so from here, I think we can solve, right? Okay, so from here, I think we can get 30 bits, right? So 30 bits, right, is equal to 50 minus 0.9 minus 0.54. This will give us 0.46 kilograms, right? So let me double check. 0.9 minus 0.54. Sorry, 0.36. I always double check. Okay. What is the mass of each bead? So one bead, okay, is equal to 0.36 divided by 30. This should be equal to um 0. 0.012, right? So divided by 30, 0.012 kilograms. So that's the answer lah. The answer is 0.012 kilograms in this case. So don't need these 20 bits actually, just like that. There you go. So from here you can like guess lah what's the answer to this here. 30 bits. 30 bits. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Question number 9. Okay, so a shop sells dresses in 4 different sizes, S, M, L, and XL. The table below shows the number of dresses sold last Saturday for size S, M, XL, but not L. The ratio of the total number of dresses sold in size S, M, and XL to the number of dresses sold in size L was 4 is to 3. Wow, so L is quite a lot. Find the ratio of the number of dresses sold in size M to number of the dress sold in size L. Okay, so we know yeah, S plus M plus XL to the ratio of L, it is 4 is to 3. Okay, so in this case, right, so SML over here is equal to 4 units, L is equal to 1 unit. So we want to get SML total. SML total is equal to, oops, why is it like that? Okay, so let's see what is SML total. Okay, my palm is on my keypad, but okay, 16, 49, 47. So let's do that. So 16 plus 49, 49 plus 47. Okay, all right, so what would this become? So 16 plus 49 plus 47, 112, 112. Okay, so that means 4 units. Okay, so 4 units is equal to 112. 1 unit is equal to 112 divided by 4. It's something 3. So 223, I guess. So 112 divided by 4, 28. Close, right? Okay, so now we know that L is 1 unit. So L is 28 lah, right? So now we want to get M is to L. So M is how many? It's 49. And then L is 28. We can divide this 2 by 49, not 48. Okay, so we can divide this 2 by 7, right? From both sides over here. Why is it that? Okay, boop. Okay, so divide both by 7. So that means 49 by 7 is 7. 28 divided by 7 is 4. So the answer to this is 7 is to 4. Okay, there you go. 7 is to 4. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, question 10. A baker baked some cupcakes for sale on Saturday morning. He sold 65% of cupcakes on Saturday and found that he had 203 cupcakes left. So part A says, how many cupcakes did the baker bake on Saturday morning? So we know that he sold, right, in terms of percentage, is 65%. So that means what is left with in terms of the percentage is equal to 100 minus 65, and this will become 35%. So we know that what he had left is 203. So 35% is equal to 203 cupcakes. So 1%, right, is equal to, so in this case, 203, 3 3 divided by 35, it will be 5.8, right? 5.8, and then 100% would then be equal to 5.8 times 100. This will be 580. So double check, times 100, 580. So the answer to this is 580 cupcakes. All right, so let's move on to part B. So he sold the remaining cupcakes on Sunday at a discount of 20%. How much were all the cupcakes sold on Sunday? So from here that we know that he baked 580 and sold 65%, right? And then that means what are we left with? So let's calculate what we are left with. What our remaining is equal to. So it's currently 35%, right? Okay, and then we multiply by 580. Okay, and what would this give us? So 35% times 580. Okay, this will give us 203. Actually, yeah, he literally said the thing. Okay, total I forgot. So he sold the remaining cupcakes at a 20% discount. So original price in this case is $3.50. So original price is dollars 3.50, right? So I would say price after discount percent is equal to 100 minus 20. This will give us 80%. So discounted price is equal to 3.5 times 80%. Okay, and what would this give us? So 3.5 multiplied by 80%. Okay, and this will give us dollars 2.80. So total cupcakes sold on Sunday, right? Total cupcakes. How much were all the, okay, which is basically in this case 203 times 2.8, right? So multiply by 203, this will be $56, not 56, $568.40. Okay, there you go. So that's the answer, $568.40. Let's move on to the next question, question 11, right? So the graph shows the cost of food delivery. A company charges for delivering meals for the first 10 kilometers. So how much is the to deliver a meal within 2 kilometers? Okay, so we see the number of gaps over here. So we have one gap, two gap, three, four, and five. Okay, so there's five gaps, five gaps, right? And this will be dollars five. Okay, and then one gap is equal to, in this case, 5 divided by 5, and this will give us $1. Okay, so for number 2, if you draw the line in red, okay, so I'm gonna put like this, and then I'm gonna draw another line at this. Okay, so this is 1, 2, and 3, so this is 3. That's what you see over here. So in this case, for 2, the answer is dollars 3 in this case. All right, so let's move on to part B. How much does the delivery company charge for every kilometers after 4 kilometers of travel? So you see over here. So the thing is, this is a straight line. Okay, if I were to measure all of the numbers, right, from 4 kilometers after that. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so let's draw another line. Draw another line at 4, and then draw another line at this part. Okay, so this will then be, so 10, 9, this will be 8. 8. Okay, so let's go for 6. I'm assuming the next one, 3 to 8 is 5. That means this should be 13. So let me draw another line. Let me put this as purple. So 6 over here. Okay. All right. And then at this stage, this is 13, right? $13. Okay. So this should be 18 for 8 as well. Okay. So let's go to line 8 with a different color, green, I guess. And then another color to this. So this should be 18, right? Okay. And lastly, this should be 23. Okay. So for line 10, let's make this into yellow. All right. And then for this, we're gonna put this as 25, 24, 23. Okay, 23. So you can see that this is uh how much every kilometer after 4 kilometers. So from 8 to 23. Okay, so in this case, to be honest, it's roughly the same. So if you were to get like 4 kilometers and 6 kilometers, we find the difference, right? Okay, the difference essentially is $5, right? So from 4 to 6 kilometers, right? 4 to 6 kilometers is basically 13 minus equal to $5. Okay, bring this back. Okay, and then from so distance from 4 to 6 kilometers. Okay, in this case is 2 kilometers. So that means the rate, right, will be 5 divided by 2. This will give us dollars 2.50 per kilometer. Okay, so in this case is dollars $2.50. Okay, so if you double check the 5 divided by 2, if you've done enough calculation, it's $2.50. All right, so question C, the delivery man has to drive 9 kilometers to Peggy's house. How much is her delivery charge? So we know the 8 kilometers is $18 over here. An additional 1 kilometer is $2.50. So what we can do is we can say 8 kilometers is equal to $18, right? Yeah, $18. So dollars 18. So additional or 1 km, right? Okay, is equal to dollars 2.5. So total will be 18 plus 2.5. This will be dollars 20.5 50 cents. That's what you see over here. Okay, so the answer is $20.50. Okay, so next one. So this is every km rates after 4 km. Okay, so let's move on to question 12. So 12 here in the figure, ACG is a triangle and ABEG is a trapezium. So ACG is a triangle, ABEG is a trapezium. Okay, so BDE is an isosceles, and then BH is parallel to CG over here. CG. So D and F are points on the straight line. Okay, D and F is point on the straight line. ABF is 41 degrees, and then BC is 31 degrees. Right. So now find R. Okay, so we have R over here, and then this is an isosceles triangle. Okay, so how we're gonna solve this is basically just want to point out that this whole trapezium thing, so it's easier to see lah, right? So like that, and then we have this. Okay, and then this is the trapezium, right? So this H wait ABG wait sorry AB okay, never mind. So what we can do is it will look something like this, right? So HBDG is a trapezium as well, right? Since these are like this, okay. So what I can do is, right, HBG is a trapezium, so that means angle I'm gonna put here. We can get PQR, right? P plus Q plus R, right? So angle, wait, angle, right? I will just P P plus Q plus R, okay, is equal to 180 minus 41 minus 31. Okay, let's use the calculator. So 180 minus 41 minus 31. This will give us 108 degrees. Okay, so this 108. Okay, why we do this is because we actually can get one of the sides of the rectangle, in this case over here, right? So if we can get this side of the rectangle from this angle over here, because these two will be 180. So from here, we can get the angle BDE, right? Angle, right? BDE, which is equal to 108, right? Minus 180 minus 108. This will give us 72 degrees. That's why it's over here. So that means, right, BDE is 72 degrees, right? So that means this is also 72. So from here we can get R as well. So from here, angle R is equal to 180 minus 72 minus 72. Okay, and in this case, 180 minus 72 minus 72, and this will be 36 degrees. 6 degrees. There you go. So the answer to angle R is 36 degrees. That's what it's over here. Right, so let's put 36 degrees. Next one. Each statement or below is either true, false, or not possible to tell from the information given. For each statement, put a tick to indicate your answer. So it's right. So let's go through each of the statements over here. Okay, so let's do the last statement because the last statement is pretty what do you call this? Easy to see. So we know that if I were to zoom out a bit, P plus Q is twice of R. Okay, let me just make it red so we know what we're looking at. Okay, so we know that R is 36, and we know P plus Q plus R is 108. Okay, so let me just write this down. Okay, so in this case, P plus Q plus R, okay, is equal to 108 degrees. Okay, so and then we know that R, angle R over here is equal to 36 degrees. Oops, let me just get my 36 degrees. Okay, then from here, how do we know what is P plus Q? Angle P, right? I'm gonna put brackets. Okay, P plus Q is essentially just 108 minus 36. Okay, so let's do that. 108 minus 36. Okay, and what will this give us? So 108 minus 36. This will give us 72, right? Okay, 72 degrees. So in this sense, P plus Q is twice of QR. I see this 36 and 72, right? So that means this is true in this case over here. Okay, so next one, let's move on to what do you call this? This HB is a parallelogram. Okay, so we want to know that HBEG is a parallelogram, right? So I'm just gonna put this as a rectangle like this. Okay, so what we know that well, really got no space to put stuff. Okay, so we know that ABEG is a trapezium. So so angle, right? Angle ABEG is 108. So that means angle BEG, bag, bag, is equal to 180 minus okay, so I think I've put in some numbers that I haven't calculated. But basically so BEG, right? BEG is basically 180 minus 72 because this is a straight line, right? As you see over here. So BEG over here, okay, is 180 minus 72. Okay, and this is equal to 108 degrees, right, over here. Okay, so we're gonna put this BEG over here, and then we're gonna put the number 108 degrees. That's what we see over here. So I'm gonna make this pink, right? So at least it's easier to see. So 108 degrees is what do you call this? Is this. So now since A, B, E, G, right? Let me just put here A, B, right? E, and then G over here is a trapezium. That means the opposite angles on the parallel line, right? Or adjacent line, sorry, is equal to 180. So in this case, I'm gonna draw this, right? And for this, the angle will be EGH. Okay, so in this case, angle EGH is equal to 180 minus 108, and this will equal to 72 degrees. That's what you see over here. So this will then become 72 degrees. Right. So we also know that on the 71, 72. We also know that P and Q over here is 72. So if I were to draw this big one, okay, that means this is 72, right? So that means this parallel, right? This whole, what is this called? HBEG, right? HBG, which is basically this whole thing, right? Is actually a parallelogram. Because if you were to minus 360 with this whole thing, this should be also 108 degrees. Okay. So I would say BHG, right? Yeah, so see, I mean, if you were to see the trapezium over here, 72 minus this as well. So BHG, angle BHG, I'm just gonna put here, right? It's 180 minus 72 degrees as well. Okay, all right. So hey, yes, okay, then that means in this case over here, this is also 108 degrees. Okay, so that means this whole line, I'm gonna put another line again. This whole this one, right? And then maybe I'll put green instead. This, then this. Right, wow, there's so many, okay. But yeah, so okay, I don't put the line now, okay, because it's quite confusing now because there's so many numbers. But let me delete this. Where's the delete? Okay, so that means in this case, this is true as well, right? HBEG is a parallelogram. Okay, so yeah, there you go. So HBEG is a parallelogram. Okay, I'm gonna put another square over here. All right, so last one, P and Q, P is equal to Q. Can't really say much because we don't know anything about this angle. We know 72, 108, but the thing is that we don't know this angle over here as well. Right? There's nothing that we can do. So in this case, it's just not possible to tell. In this case over here, right? Okay, so let's move on to the next question. All right. Uh, Question number 13A. Okay, so it says here, let me zoom out a bit. Mrs. Tan bought an equal number of pots and pans. The ratio of the cost of a pot to the cost of a pan was 3:2. The average price of a pot and a pan was $11.25. Mrs. Chan paid $45 less for the pots than the pans. Okay, how many pans did Mrs. Chan buy? Okay, so over here, what we can do is we can get the total price of the pots and pans. Okay, so we know that the average price of one pot plus one pan is equal to dollars 11.25. Total or number of items is equal to 1 plus 1 equal to 2. So total price of one pot and one pan is equal to 11.25 times 2, which is $22.50. Okay, so now we know the total price of one pot and one pen. Then at the same time, we know that the price of one pot according to units, I say in units, is equal to, so this is 3 units, and then one price of one pen in units is 2 units. Okay, so total units of one pot and one pen is equal to 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. So that means 5 units. So that means uh, 5 units is equal to $22.50. And then 1 unit is equal to 22.5, right? And then divided by 5 is equal to $4.50. So we double confirm 0.5 divided by 5. This is $4.50. Okay, so we know one group is equal to one pot plus pen, right? Okay, so one group difference in units is equal to 3 minus 2, which is the 1 unit. So one group difference cost is basically $4.5. Okay, then number, so total difference is, we know, is over here $45. So $45. Okay, over here it says Mrs. Chan paid $45 less for the pens and pots than the pots. So that means total number of groups is equal to dollars or 4.5, and then we divide it by 4.5. This will give us 10, right? So in total we have 10 groups, right? So in conclusion, number of pots, we're looking for pens, pens is equal to 10 times 1, right? Since there are, in one group there is one pot and one pen, then it will become 10. Okay, so 10 groups times one pen, go to this. So I'm going to draw a line like this. Oops. Yep. So the answer to this is 10 over here. All right, let's move on to part B. Mrs. Chan bought 2 more pens. Circle the words describe the new average price. Okay, so in this case over here, we need to get the total to get the new average. So we know that the average is $11.25. So the number of pots, number of, we know, pens is equal to 10. Number of pots is also 10 because it's the same, right? 10 number of pots, not 10 pots. Okay, pens. Okay, so pens is plus 2, equal to 12. So this is the total, right? Okay, so cost of all pens is equal to 12. And then one pot is 3 units, one pen is 2 units. So cost of one pen is equal to pot. Okay, pot lah. Pen. Okay, pen also can. 2 times 4.5. Okay, 2 times 4.5. Okay, and in this case will be $9. Cost of one pot will be, pot is 3 times 4.5 will be 13.50. Okay, so cost of all pens is 12 times 9 is 108. Then cost of all pots will be 10 times 4.5. No, sorry, 13.5. Okay, and this will be $135. Dollars 135. Okay, so from here, so average is equal to so we total number of items is equal to 12 plus 10 is equal to 22. So average is basically the total 108 plus 135, and then we divide it by 22, right? So 108. So I'm going to double check. So 12 multiplied by 9 is 108. 10 multiplied by 13.5 is 135. 3 multiplied by 4.5 is 13.5. Okay, great. So then 108 plus 135, okay, it's equal to 243. 243 divided by 22. Okay, this will give us a rough $11.04. Right. Roughly, let me put curly bracket. Curly, what's the 11.04? $11.04. Okay, so this means it is less. So we're gonna circle the word less than in this case over here. Okay, less than. Alrighty, let's move on to the next question. It should be 11.5 cents. Okay. Question number 14. The bar graph shows the number of books sold in a bookstore from September to November. The number of books sold is not given in the scale. Okay. Uh yeah, the number of books left unsold at the end of the month is represented in the line graph as well. Right? The number of books left unsold is also not given in the scale, right? So based on the information from figure 1, what fraction of the books sold in 3 months were sold in October? So we can, just let all this into one, right? So in this case, we just say 1, okay, 1, then 2, right? Okay, 2, then 3, right? And then 4, right? 4, 5. The last one is 6. Okay, so I think we can just let everything be this. Okay, so for September, we'll just say this is like 4 units in essence. This is 6. And then for November, this is 3. So we want to get October, right? So for October, what we need to do is we need to get total. So total is equal to, I put units also, 4, 6, and 3. So total units is equal to 4 plus 6 plus 3. Oops, 3 is equal to 13. Okay. So from this case, 13 units. Then the fraction, then October is 6, right? So October is equal to 6 units. So then fraction sold on October is equal to, and then we just put the fractions, which is 6 out of 13, like this. All right, so that's about it. So the answer is 6 out of 13 in this case over here. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Part B, part 1. Given that books were sold in in the month of November, how many books were sold from September to November? Okay, so we know that 18 books were in November. So November. November will be 3 units. Okay, then we know October and September. So October will be 6 units, and September will be 4 units. Okay, November 3 units. Okay, great. Given that the books were sold in a month, 18 books. Okay, so that means 3 units is equal to 18 for November. How many books were sold from September to November? So 1 unit is equal to 18, and then we divide it by 3. This will give us 6. Then what's the total units? Is 13 units. So I'm just going to copy this. So total units, okay, is 13 units. So we just have 13 units equal to 6 times 13. This will give us 78 in this case over here. All right. Okay, so we just double check 6 multiplied by 13, 78. So the answer is 78. Great. All right, so what was the number of books left unsold in the bookstore in December? Okay, let's go back over here and see in this case over here. All right, so B part 2 was the number of books left unsold in the bookstore in the December. In this case over here, we know from August to September we sold 4 units. Right, so let's write September is equal to 4 units, which is 4 times 6 is equal to 24 books sold on September. Let me write here. Books sold in September is 24. So in this case over here, we can count the number of gaps, right? So I'm going to put here what is the number of gaps. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in this case, this is the number of sold. Okay. So in this case, we are try again. Forgot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, right? So we sold here. So in this case, September we sold 6 units in September, right? So and we also know that books sold in September is 24. So I'll put not units but parts, 6p or 6 parts in this case over here. All right, so what this means is that in this case we can just convert what we have sold, which is 24 to sold 6 parts. So books sold in September, okay, according to graph, okay, books sold in September, books sold in parts is equal to 6p, right? Or 6 parts. So 6p is equal to 24, then 1 part is equal to 4 in this case, right? So we know that 1 part over here is 4, okay? Then what we can do is we can minus everything else, right? So we know the total, let's see, September to November, we have all here, right? Okay, we actually can get the total number of parts over here. Okay, so total number of parts in graph is equal to 20 because we calculated last. So 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, right? 20p, right? So total number of parts, so total books is equal to 20 times 4, which is 80. 80 books. And then that means December, we just minus everything. Okay, so we know November, October, September. So we know books sold in September is 24. We know books sold, yeah, books sold in what is it called that? In how many was from September to November? Okay, so books sold 78, right? So in this case, December, books unsold in December is equal to total books, right? Minus, and then we have this 78, right? Books sold from September to November. From September to November, okay, or just put Sep to November is equal to total books is 80 minus 78, which is equal to 2. And the answer to this is 2. Okay, there you go. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question number 15. Okay, so it says here a total of 81 students were assigned to welcome guests during a school event. They were to line up in a row along the corridor. There were at least 3 girls between any 2 boys. So, what was the greatest possible number of boys in a row along the corridor? So, in this case, if I were to draw the girls as right? Diamonds. So, and then we have two diamonds in this case. So I'll put here as girls. Oh, between any two boys. Okay, boys. Okay, doesn't matter. So boys over here, and then boys over here as well. Okay, so we have two boys, and then in between there are three girls. Okay, so I'm gonna draw something else, which is maybe a triangle. Okay, and then we have girls. Okay, so girls is a triangle. Okay, so I'm gonna write here girls like this. Right. Oops. Okay, so move the girls like this, and then I'll just duplicate it. Right, girls, and then we have one more girl in between the boys. That's what you see over here. Okay, so this is like a pattern lah. So just draw the pattern. Okay, so this will be the same as what you see over here, like this. Okay, so girls, boys, all of this. Okay, so what was the greatest possible number of boys in the row along the corridor? So we know that the boys also have one at the end. So the pattern is this lah, right? So the pattern is this: girls, boys, like that. Okay, and then another pattern like this as well. Okay, so every one boy has three girls beside. Okay, right? So that means if we have, okay, 81, so we left one boy at the end, and at the end of the line we have one boy. Okay, so we minus the boy. 81 minus 1 equal to 80. Right, so number, yeah, okay, 81 minus 80. Then after that with this, so if one group, right, is equal to 1 plus 3, which is 4 students, right? Okay, one group. Okay, total students in one group is equal to 81 minus 1, sadly, with no group set life. Okay, so one group is 4 students, then 80 students will be equal to 80, and then be divided by 4 is equal to 20 students, right? Students. So one boy plus 3 girls. In this case over here, 4 students. Okay, so we know there's 20 groups, right? Over here, so 80 students, 20 groups. So how many, what's the greatest of boys? So that means for this case over here, let me write this as well, right? So that means we have 20. So total boys is equal to 20 groups times one boy plus one, which means this is 20. One in this case over here. There you go. So that's the answer. Right. So total boys will be 21. Okay, let's move on to the next part B. What's the ratio of the number of girls to the number of boys at the school event? Express your answer in the simplest form. So we have total is 81 total students equal to 81. So boys is equal to 21, and then girls will be equal to 81 minus 21. This will become 60, right? So then we just have the girls, no, sorry, what was the ratio of number of girls to the boys? Yes, girls is to boys, okay, which is equal to, so girls is 60, and then boys is 21. So what can we do? We can divide it by, let's do the simplest one, 3. Okay, so divide this by 3, divide this by 3, then what do we get? So 60 divided by 3, this will give us 20. Then 21 divided by 3 is 7. Okay, that's it. It's only 20 and 7. All right, so the answer for part B is 20 and 20 is to 7. Let's move on to question 16. Two children use the same number of ice cream sticks to make toy houses. Okay, Don used 7 of his ice cream sticks, while Leia used 3/4 of her ice cream sticks. They had a total of 4,350 ice cream sticks at first. How many ice cream sticks did each of them use? So this is what we call the equal fraction concept, right? Okay, so what do you mean by this? We know that they use the same amount. Okay, so that means 6 out of 7 of Dawn, right? Sticks is used the same, right? Okay, Dawn sticks is the same as in this case, same as 3/4. So 3 out of 4. Okay, so in this case, since this is the same, what we need to do is we need to make the numerator the same. Okay, so first sticks. Okay, so first step, okay, I'm gonna make this a bit closer to this. Okay, so step one, make numerators the same by with same by finding out the lowest lowest, I'm gonna put like this, common multiple. So in this case, lowest common multiple of 6 and 3 is 6. Okay, that means in this case 3/4 of Leah sticks needs to times 2, right? So times 2 for Leah sticks, right? And then we times 2 and 4 as well. So that means this will then become, oops, give me the whole thing, will become this, right? So this will be 6/8, right? So now this is equal. And let's move on to step 2. Convert. Step 2 is convert fractions to units, which means Dawn total is equal to 7 units. Leia total is equal to 8 units. So basically denominators, right? I'm just gonna write here denominators, make it small as well, make this small. Denominators will be total number of units for each person. Okay, in this case, right? Denominators will be total number of units for each person. Okay, so total is what you see over here. Gotta make this on top so it's easier to see. Right, so it's step 2. We have the total units. Then we can solve lah, right? Okay, so step 3, that you just solve. Solve. So total units is equal to 7 plus 8 equal to 15 units. So 15 units equal to 4350. Okay, 1 unit is equal to 4350 divided by 15. This will give us 290. So each of them use 6 units for each of them use 6 units of sticks. So that means, okay, I need to move this a bit more to the left like this. Okay, so that means 6 units equal to 6 times 290 equal to, so multiply by 6, so 1740. All right, the answer is 1740. Okay, let's move on to the next question, part B. So all right, so part B, Leah wanted to give Dawn some of her remaining sticks, ice cream sticks. How many ice cream sticks must Leah give to Dawn such that they will have an equal number of ice cream sticks? Okay, so Dawn left is equal to, so 7 minus 1, oops, minus 1, hey, 7 minus 6, not 1, equal to 1 unit, okay? Then Leah left 8 minus 6 will be 2 units. Okay, so we know that Dawn is 1 unit left and Leah is left with 2 units. So Total left is equal to 3 units. Okay, so 3 units is equal to 3 times what's 1 unit? 290 is equal to, so 3 times multiplied by 290, this will be 870. Okay, so how many ice cream sticks must Leah give Dawn such that they will have an equal number of ice cream stick left? So basically this is total left. So if split remaining total remaining split equally is equal to 870, and then we divided by 2 to 2 person people, so this will be 435. Okay, so 870 divided by 2, 435. Okay, so now we know what each person needs. So in this case, so Leah left is equal to 2 times 290, which is equal to 580. Okay, then Leah should give 580 minus 435. Okay, and this will give us 145. Right, there you go. So that's the answer, 145. Okay, let me double check. Right, 580 minus 435, 145. Great. Right, so yeah, Leah left with 580. Leah should give 145. So to this to make it equal. So that means, so if I were to double check, okay, so if Leah gave 145, she is left with 580 minus 145, which is in this case 435. Okay, so if what's name Dawn received 145, he is left with, so 1 unit is 290 plus 145 is equal to 435. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense. Yeah, I'm gonna move this a bit here. Okay, so they are the same. Okay lah, that's it. All right, so question 17. The figure is made out of two identical right-angled triangles with overlap each other, and PQ is equal to 10 centimeters. Okay, so I'm going to quickly draw PQ to be 10 centimeters. Right, that's what you see over here. All right, find the length of RS. Okay, so in this case, the RS over here, if I were to also draw this line, right, as 14 centimeters. So what do you think RS is? So if you guess any overlap triangles, right, the length is always the same because they are both identical. So since this 14 centimeters also can be drawn the same length, okay, that's what you see over here, right? So this is also 14 centimeters. That's what I see over here. Okay, therefore the answer for RS is 14 centimeters, not 24, 14 centimeters. Okay. All right, so let's move on to part B. Find the area of the shaded part. Okay, so I think you can see we have one triangle over here, right? So I'm going to quickly draw this triangle. So you see I have a red triangle as what you see over here. So it's pretty straightforward because in this case, this is a right angle triangle as well, right? This is a right angle triangle. Okay, then we can form another triangle. Okay, so from here, right, PQ, this is 24 centimeters. So what do you think this one will be from the Q section all the way to the base? So for this will be 10 minus 24. This will also be 14. Okay, just to give a good sense on what this is, right? This is also 14 centimeters because, yeah, 24 minus 10, 14 centimeters. Okay, in this case over here, we also need to know that 10 centimeters, right? Let me just put this in uh, blue, right? This 10 centimeters, right, can also be moved through the line like this. So this is also 10 centimeters. Okay, so I'm going to put this in blue as well, so at least we are not confused with the numbers. So this is 10 centimeters, so that means we have another triangle. So you can see over here, right? So this 10 centimeters, because it's inside, we can draw this line. So 10 centimeters is also over here, right? So we have two triangles. So we also have another triangle over here as well. So we also know that this 14 centimeters is also inside here. Okay. So in this case over here, I'm gonna put this as 14 centimeters. Whoops. I'm gonna move this over here, right? 14 centimeters, and we have another triangle. So I'm gonna draw it. So you have another triangle like this. Okay. So now the thing is that we have what 40 centimeters. So what about the last part? Okay, so the last part, okay, so you know that this is 10 centimeters. Last part here is 10 centimeters as well. So you can see that we have 14 centimeters because this is over here, right? So you just draw a straight line. This is 14 centimeters. So what do you think this little angle over here, right? If I were to just extend this line as well. So what is this small little height? Okay, like running out of like what do you call this? Uh, color. So this should be 10 minus 4. This is 4 centimeters in this case over here. Okay, so you can see that. Let me draw a line as well. That 4 centimeters is basically this and this. Okay, which is basically 14 centimeters. And then over here, it's kind of overlap. But since they are the same, we actually can put this triangle over here, right, to this over here. So in essence, right, we can move this. So we can move this whole thing over here to this part, right? I think I also added this, right, like in this. Okay, so essentially this is a whole what do you call this, a right angle, and then we can make this into a what do you call this, the a rectangle. So I'm gonna just copy this, right, and then let me copy this and paste this over here, something like this. Okay, then maybe I'll draw a line, right, arrow. Okay, so that we can connect this from here to here somewhere lah, right? Okay, so in this case, hopefully this make a lot of sense, right? So 14, 10, 10, 14, right? So in this case over here, I'm gonna draw like this, 14. Okay, all right, so a lot. Okay, so shaded part is equal to, right, 3 triangles plus 1 rectangle. Okay, so 1 triangle, okay, in this case 1 2 3, so is equal to half times base times height. In this case, the base is 14 and the height is 10. So for all of this is the same. That means half times base is 14 centimeters, right? Okay, and then times height. Okay, 14 times 10. Okay, so this will be equal to 70, right? So 14 divided by 2 is 7 times 10 is 70. And then what about the rectangle? So three triangles. So one triangle area, okay, three triangles area, one rectangle area. Okay, is equal to 3 times 70, which is equal to 210. Three triangles area, triangle area is 210. Okay, in this case, all right, so what rectangle area, okay, over here, so we can actually put this whole thing, right? Can I put all of this as dotted lines? Okay, this whole thing is actually, we can move it, let me get this x small, move it here. Okay, yeah, something like that lah, right? So we move it here. Okay, so this, we can move this, make this small, yeah, move this triangle to form a rectangle. That's what I see. You can move this triangle, so make it purple, right, to form a rectangle. So the length and breadth is 14 times 10. So I'm going to put here as rectangle, right, area. Okay, it is equal to like length times breadth, which in this case is length is 14 and breadth is 4. 14 times 4, and this will give us 14 times 4 is 2856. Okay, so this is 56 centimeter square. Okay, so now we know the rectangle area. Then the last part is shaded part. Shaded part is equal to 3 triangles, 210 plus 56. Okay, and what will this give us? This will give us 266 centimeter square. That's it, right? So this is a really tough one. 4 marks worth. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, so this is really, I would say, something that you really need to think about as much as possible, right? Okay, so I'm gonna push this 4 centimeters away, something like this. Okay, and then draw a line. So I see over here. Okay, so that's about it. Okay, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want more of this kind of video, subscribe down below and comment down what are the things you want me to go through next. All right, so see you in the next one. Bye bye.